forever. We had a comfortable life, a nice house in the suburbs, and 2 beautiful kids. I thought we had it all. But over the last year, things had started to change. It began subtly. Sarah started going to the gym. First, I was supportive. She said she wanted to get back in shape, to feel better about herself. I thought it was great. She'd come home energized, her cheeks flushed, and she seemed happier. She started buying new clothes, things that were a little more form-fitting, a little more stylish than her usual mom wear. Again, I thought nothing of it. She deserved to feel good. She said she was doing it for herself, to reclaim a part of her identity she felt she'd lost after having the kids. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? This was Sarah, the love of my life, the most honest person I knew. Then the changes became more pronounced. She started working late more often. She was a graphic designer, and she said her firm had landed a big new client requiring extra hours. I'd make dinner, get the kids ready for bed, and wait up for her. Sometimes she wouldn't get home until after I'd fallen asleep on the couch. The weekends, once our sacred family time, started getting interrupted by work emergencies or girls' nights out that seemed to happen with increasing frequency. The physical intimacy between us, which had always been a strong part of our connection, dwindled to almost nothing. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd get defensive. "I'm just tired, Mark," she'd say. "You have no idea how much pressure I'm under." She'd make me feel guilty for even bringing it up, as if I was being selfish for wanting my wife's affection. A cold dread started to settle in my stomach. I hated the person I was becoming, suspicious, anxious, constantly checking my phone for a text from her. I told myself I was being paranoid. This was Sarah, my Sarah. She would never betray me. But the little things kept adding up, like puzzle pieces forming a picture I didn't want to see. She was fiercely protective of her phone, which was a new development. Was always face down on the table or tucked away in her purse. One evening, she was in the shower and her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A notification lit up the screen. It was from a name I didn't recognize, Alex. The message read, "Can't stop thinking about last night." My heart stopped. It felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I stood there, frozen, the words burning into my brain. Last night she had told me she was having dinner with her friend Jessica. My mind was a whirlwind of denial and panic. Maybe Alex was a new client. Maybe last night was about a work project. There had to be a rational explanation. But deep down, I knew. The gym, the new clothes, the late nights, the distance, it all clicked into place. She wasn't changing for herself. She was changing for someone else. For Alex, the thought was like a physical blow. I spent the rest of the evening in a daze, pretending everything was normal. I helped the kids with their homework, read them a bedtime story, and kissed their foreheads. All while my world was imploding. When Sarah came to bed, she rolled over, her back to me without a word. The silence in that room was deafening. I lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling, the message replaying in my mind on a loop. The next day I knew I had to find out the truth, no matter how much it hurt. The not knowing was eating me alive. I felt sick with guilt, but I did something I never thought I'd do. I looked through her phone records on our shared family plan. There it was. A number I didn't recognize called and texted dozens of times a day, every day, for the past 3 months. The calls were always during her late nights at work or on her way to the gym. I typed the number into a search engine. It belonged to an Alex Peterson, a personal trainer at the very gym Sarah had joined. His profile picture showed a guy who looked like he was carved from stone, grinning confidently at the camera. I felt a wave of nausea. It was real. It was all real. I confronted her that night. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. My voice was barely a whisper. I just sat her down after the kids were in bed and said, "Who is Alex?" The color drained from her face. For a moment, she looked like a cornered animal. Then, the defensiveness kicked in. "He's just a friend from the gym," she said, her voice strained. "You're being ridiculous." But I held her gaze. "Sarah, I saw the message. I saw the phone records. Please, just don't lie to me anymore." That's when the facade crumbled. Oh, the tears came hot and fast. And then the confession. It all came pouring out. It had started with him offering her fitness advice, then coffee, then lunches. He made her feel seen, she said, desirable, something she claimed she hadn't felt from me in years. Each word was a knife in my chest. She told me it wasn't just emotional, it had become physical about a month ago. The late nights were spent at his apartment. Girls' nights were weekends away with him. My entire reality for the past year had been a lie. She was crying, saying how sorry she was, how it was a mistake, how she still loved me and our family. But all I could hear was the echo of her deceit. She said she was changing for herself, but the change had someone else's name written all over it. The new confidence she had wasn't for her, it was for him. Damn. The new clothes weren't to make her feel good, they were to make her look good for him. All the support I had given her, All the encouragement had been used to facilitate her betrayal. The days that followed were a blur of pain and anger. We were living like ghosts in our own home, tiptoeing around each other, the air thick with unspoken words and broken promises. I looked at the woman I had loved for more than half my life and saw a stranger. How could she do this to me? To our children? She begged for another chance, promised she had cut off all contact with Alex, that she would do anything to fix us. She started therapy, both individually and wanted to do couples counseling. A part of me wanted to believe her, to try and piece our shattered family back together. For the sake of the kids, I wanted to find a way to forgive. But another louder part of me screamed in protest. Trust, the very foundation of our marriage, was gone. It had been systematically dismantled by months of lies. I looked at my children, so innocent and unaware of the earthquake that had shaken their parents' world, and I knew I had a decision to make. Could I stay in this marriage constantly wondering if she was telling the truth? Could I ever look at her again without seeing the betrayal in her eyes? Or did I owe it to myself and to my kids to show them what a healthy, honest relationship looks like, even if it meant their parents weren't together? The path forward was unclear, shrouded in fog, but one thing was certain: the life I thought I had was over. She said she was changing for herself.